Hi, I'm the Dr. David. In today's spot video, we'll be discussing one of my books, The Fallacy of God, a Religious Conspiracy. And to be more specific, we'll be speaking about part of what my book talks about. Christianity is blasphemy. Oh no, before we even get into this, you heard it. Did he say the word conspiracy? Well, we all know conspiracy has got to be something strange. What's going to tell us that the Banana Man is a reincarnation of Hitler, or he sees chariots of the gods in the sky? Now, come on, folks. What do you think of when you hear the word conspiracy? Conspiracy theory. I didn't even have to hear you, and I know you all said theory. We've all been preconditioned to think someone says the word conspiracy, run the other way, can't be any truth to it. But the fact is, let's talk about this for a second. The fact is, if something sounds totally illogical, something doesn't seem to add up, you notice something strange, you can tell there's something strange, but people are telling you this is how it is, and you're going, I don't think so. From the little bit I know, it just doesn't make sense. That's a conspiracy idea. You know something's going on, but you don't have much behind it. So that's a conspiracy theory. But if you start studying that and you start getting facts, like Jesus Christ, he taught Judaism. Jesus Christ wanted a revival of Judaism. Jesus Christ taught his apostles, don't let any Gentiles in. We want to get back the Old Testament, get away from what's happening. So now we got some facts saying Jesus Christ taught Judaism. What is all this Christianity stuff going on? So now we know we're being told something that it probably isn't true. So it becomes a conspiracy probability. And if we keep studying it, we find out is the darn truth is that Jesus Christ wanted Judaism. He wanted a revival of Judaism. All the Pharisees and all the religious leaders had become so indoctrinated with the society, the Greco-Roman society that they were living in, that they were getting away from the Old Testament. They weren't following the rules of the Old Testament. And Jesus was furious about this. He wanted to bring it back to the old ways. But our religious leaders today, don't they know this? Why are they telling us Christianity, Jesus taught us to use the New Testament, turn the other cheek, don't go away from the Old Testament? This is bullshit. Why are religious leaders telling us that? Because it's not the truth. And if they don't know it's not the truth, why they are religious leaders? So something is wrong. It's a conspiracy based on fact. We're going to get into this coming right up. I can hear it now. Who is this Dr. David? Why is he saying that Jesus didn't teach Christianity? It's all through the New Testament about what Jesus taught. Actually, it's not at all like that. Jesus taught Judaism. Jesus was a rebel who wanted to free his people from the Roman Empire. Thus the Messiah, the way the Messiah really is. Nothing to do about being God. And all the talk about all this new stuff is all influenced by Paul. Who is Paul? Paul is Saul of Tarsus. Saul is a man who, if he had the chance to, he would have killed Jesus. He's the founder of the basic Christianity that we have today. And what happened is, Paul, out of greed for lust and money, he's on his way to Damascus one day, and he goes, "Whoa, I saw a big light, big flash of light." And there's some Bible stories say he burned his eyes, and some say it might have been sulfur, some of say about bright light. But they all agree that it was a bright light. And then he said he heard the voice of Jesus in the sky. Now others that were there with him that spoke Aramaic, which is what Jesus spoke most of the time. But anyways, they spoke the languages back then that Jesus would have spoke, said all they heard was a rumble. So what we really have is a flash of light followed by a low rumble. Sounds like something else, doesn't it? Can't imagine what the flash of light and then a little rumble is. But anyways, he says, "How do I know you're Jesus?" and Jesus tells him, "I'm Jesus." Probably said, "Stop playing with yourself, Paul. It is Jesus." But anyways, get away from that. I digress. A little comedy there. Not very funny. But so he starts this religion for greed and money and power. Now the apostles hear about this new religion that Paul's teaching, and they get in a big argument with him, and he tells them that everything that Jesus ever preached about, ever taught you, is all wrong. That's not what Jesus wants. He wants Christianity. And they hated each other. 3 times that we know about, they brought charges of blasphemy against Paul because Christianity is blasphemy because it's not what Jesus wanted. It's totally against what Jesus wanted. Jesus wanted a revival of Judaism. So why do I say Christianity is blasphemy? That's what the apostles said. Paul was teaching blasphemy. If you're following Christianity, you're following the teachings of Paul. Now the Gospels, all through the Gospels, Jesus this, that, and the other thing. Again, this is influenced by Paul. The Gospels only spoke about the teachings of Jesus as to what I said a couple of minutes ago about Judaism and freeing his people from the Roman Empire. All these stories about the resurrection of God and all this stuff that Jesus did this and the miracles and all this stuff all comes from the deviations of what Paul got going. Paul brought mythology into Christianity. So Jesus' real story is a man who wanted to revive Judaism. The fantasy Jesus is the miracles that Paul started. The Gospels had no names. For 200 years the Gospels had no names, and there was literally hundreds of Gospels. Then they narrowed them all down to the canonical synoptic Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, blah, blah, blah. But Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, they're not written by Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. They just decided that they're going to give them names. Now remember, this was 200 years later when they decided they're going to give these four Gospels names. And the oldest one, the one that's closest to Jesus' time, around 40 years after his crucifixion, ends with the tomb is broken into, or the tomb is open, and Jesus' body is missing. It's a cliffhanger. Jesus' body is missing. Hundreds of years go by when people that were influenced by Paul decide, oh, this must be when Jesus was resurrected, and it's added in later. And we know it was added in later. Then the other Gospels, the next two Gospels, Matthew and Luke, follow this. And of course, John has Jesus totally a mythological, spiritual creature in most of what he says. Again, it's hard to talk about the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John without saying John says this, but it's not John, it's the one they named John says this. And each of those Gospels are compilations of stories that they figured fit the time, different time eras, and so they compiled each of those Gospels together. Basically, the Gospels are nothing more than oral stories that were all thrown together, and they found 4 out of the hundreds that they could put together that didn't conflict with each other as most. And everybody knows that the Gospels are full of all kinds of contradictions despite all the work they did. So anyways, if you are following Christianity, just as the apostles brought charges against Paul of blasphemy, you are guilty of blasphemy. Now Jehovah God says that he who commits blasphemy should kill himself today, because there is no future for that person tomorrow. I will never hear him again. I will never forgive him. And the punishment is eternal hellfire. Anyways, as usual, I don't have a lot of time. But the apostles did not go around preaching Christianity. The apostles went around for a time teaching Judaism, which was the wishes that Jesus Christ had to teach Judaism to the Jewish people and bring them back to the Old Testament. Christianity was spread after Constantine. Emperor Constantine won a battle and had a dream that he should put the cross on his shields for his soldiers, blah, blah, blah. Christianity becomes the official language of the Roman Empire. Roman Empire spreads Christianity. And by the way, for the Roman Empire to spread Christianity, they had to decide what cult of Christianity they wanted to follow. And when they did that, they banned all the other cults of Christianity, like the Gnostics and stuff like that. And that's when Rome started persecuting Christians after they became a Christian empire. Anyways, like I said, I got to get going. But if you don't understand why teaching Christianity is blasphemous, again, the apostles 3 times that we know of brought charges against Paul, the founder of Christianity, charges of blasphemy against him. Pretty simple, huh? Anyways, if you think the only way you can praise Jesus is by hurting Jesus, because Jesus would turn over in his grave if he knew that you were teaching Christianity in his name, I put together a little video for you. Again, the name of the book is The Fallacy of God, a Religious Conspiracy. And here comes that little video about how you're showing your love for God, or for Jesus.
puppy, knife me, make it hurt. Chain me, beat me, puppy, knife me, take away my rubber shirt. You know you are the only one, loving you so much fun. Come on, pretty baby, make it hurt. Here we go.
Anyways, the music portion of this video is for comic relief only and is not an endorsement for Christianity is blasphemy. But if you still don't understand why Christianity is blasphemous, then you just might be an intelligent design enforcer. I'm the Dr. David. Have a great life.
Come on.